I just got back from guest services. They brought me into guest services to yell at me for being in the lounge yesterday and for getting kicked out, and then wanted to extend an apology. They put a bottle of water in my room. These people are insane right now. They wanted to extend an apology for the person who kicked me out. They were like, hey, you can't do that. But also, we're sorry that the guy kicked you out. That's like literally what they said. He brought me to a room. He was scaring me. I'm going, I need to record this. I'm sorry. And he was like, you can't do it. And I was like, that was so weird. I was scared. I was like, oh, this is it. They're kicking me off the ship. I am on probation. They are watching me. They're watching me.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to a quick little video. As you can tell by the title of this video is about our boy Marc Sebastian. Yes, Marc Sebastian was doing a TikTok live book club with someone that was on the ship. She was a Pinnacle member. They were in the lounge, and apparently Royal Caribbean was unhappy that Marc was not only live but in the lounge and was not a Pinnacle member. They came up to him during his live, asked him to turn off the live, and then apparently after the live, they escorted him out of the lounge and took him to like the guest service principal office, if you would. And here's the catch. The person that reported him was not even on the ship, was not even on board. It was somebody that was watching, paid $8 to make the phone call to report that he was in the lounge and was a Pinnacle member. It's not like the lounge was packed, filled with people. It was literally him and the woman that invited him to the lounge. And it's just crazy to me. Like, I don't know, you guys. But of course, Marc went live and he had to tell his side of the story right away. And Auntie wouldn't be at sea if Auntie didn't have the tea at sea. So let's just get into this mess. Ooh-wee. Just the way I like it.
And then he just like goes, okay, well, you know, I just wanted to tell you that like what you did yesterday, it wasn't okay, but also Fabio is really sorry. And I go, what? And he's like, can we just go into the bedroom? And I'm like, okay, so you're not gonna yell at me? And he was like, no, I'm not here to yell at you. And I was like, what are you talking about? So then we go into his room. It's like this little office. I'm like, at this point, I can't record. Like, I couldn't do it. Also, I told everyone I'm not going to record anyone without their consent. That was at the, like, baseline. I told everyone that at the beginning. I wasn't going to do it. So I'm sitting on the, like, this little love seat. And he's going, listen, what you did yesterday wasn't okay. We cannot have you doing that. It's, like, Sabrina shouldn't have done that, brought you in there. And I immediately go into, like, oh fuck, Sabrina's gonna get in trouble. I can't do this. So I'm going, it's all my fault. I told Sabrina that Sabrina wanted to be my book club. I told her that it was my, like, the only way she could be my book club is if she took me into the lounge. And that, like, if she took me into the lounge, then like, I'll put her in the book club. And I'm just like, being like, it's all my fault, blame it all on me, like, blah, blah, blah. Just because I didn't want to get Sabrina in trouble, who was so nice and bringing me into the lounge. And so I'm just like rattling off, and he's like, calm down, like, Sabrina's not in trouble. We brought her in and talked to her already, or we called her and we talked to her today, whatever. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm still sitting on the thing, and he's like, you know, like, everyone's allowed to have opinions, blah, blah, blah. But also, like, Fabio was upset because Fabio didn't want to have to kick you out, and he felt uncomfortable about it. So, like, he wants to say he's sorry. And then you could tell in the video that Fabio doesn't want to kick us out. Fabio's very nice in the video. He's like going like, hey, I'm really sorry. Like, you guys are so nice. I'm really sorry that I have to do this. And I'm like, so I'm so confused as to what's going on. So then we get on, so I'm like, all right, now that I have the guest services manager in front of me, I'm like, you're saying you're totes lost, I'm lost. I'm sitting on a love seat in front of this guy who just scolded me for going into the lounge, said that Sabrina was in trouble, or like that they were angry with Sabrina, then said that they were not angry with Sabrina, and then apologized to me on behalf of the the guy that kicked me out. And I'm going, what is happening right now? And so then I was like, okay, can you, and Sabrina had already texted me saying that she learned it was someone who had called from shore, called guest services, who then called Fabio to get us out of the land. And I'm going, what? What do you mean? How do you know that? And she's like, I know it. And so then I'm like, okay, I have this guy in front of me. Let's see if he lies. And I was like, okay, so I'm asking the guy sitting in front of me. I'm like, did someone call? How did you guys know that I was in the lounge? Because the only way that you would have known that is if you were watching my live. And he was like, no, well, you know, Fabio, I think, went in there to like get something, and then he saw you guys. And I was like, no, that's not right, because he says in the video that like he was told he needed to get you guys out. So he was told. And he was like, well, you know, I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure who called. And I'm like, so someone called. And he was like, no, I didn't say that. And I'm like, come on, don't lie to me. Just be like, did he call? Did someone call or did someone not call? And he was like, well, I don't know who called, if they did call, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, is it Royal Caribbean? Like, did Royal Caribbean watch my live and they got angry? And he was like, I don't think that's what that is. I don't think that, I don't know what it is. And I'm going, you guys are watching me, and it's like, would be so much easier if you guys just played along. Like, and so then I'm talking to him about how I feel about, like, the whole Royal Caribbean, like, thing that I feel like is going on, which is that we're not talking, like, right? I unfollowed Royal Caribbean, we all know that. I unfollowed them because I felt like their business practices were weird. I felt like they were exploiting, allegedly. And it just made me feel weird. And so, like, I felt better sleeping at night knowing that I wasn't supporting that, right? And so, I'm like, listen, I don't understand why they're missing the boat on this. Like, they have some of the, like, they have people who are being watched religiously right now on their ship. How are they not, like, taking advantage of the influencers on board? Like, why are they not, you know, talking to them and having them make content or whatever? Like, I was like, if they had literally just made one TikTok about me getting kicked out of the lounge, the whole tide would have turned, like, again, and it would have gone for them, right? Everyone would have been in the comment section being like, oh my god, LOL, this is so funny. And he's going, well, I don't know, I'm not really handling, like, the social media stuff. And I'm like, okay, but you have to know, like, and I was like, you know, I walk around this ship and I know that the crew knows me. And he was like, well, yes, if, like, you know, everyone's watching these videos. And I'm like, okay, but why is Royal Caribbean not, like, talking to me? Why is it taken to this? Why has me... It wasn't that I went out and called out your workers about how you split that prize. It was that I went into the lounge and that was your draw. That was your line draw. They were like, oh, okay, now we need to bring him in and talk to him. And I was like, why that? Like, what is this? And I was like, I'm just surprised that it's taken you so long to come in and, like, reprimand me. What's happening? And basically I was just trying to get him to be like, I don't think they want to reprimand you because it's going to look bad on you. Obviously, he wasn't going to say that, but I just wanted him to know that I know that they're watching, and I know that if they were to do something, if they were to kick me off or whatever, it would look terrible on them. But if they made a joke about it, it would go great. No, I'm not leaving. I didn't get kicked off. So I'm going, all right. How come everyone's saying I didn't get a notification that I went live? I also did feel like last night they were, like, limiting my internet. Today my internet is fine, so maybe that's, like, whatever.
All I can say is Marc leaves this week, and he has been the one that has been keeping this cruise interesting. Who's going to keep it real with us now? Who's going to tell us the tea? Who's going to tell us the real, the raw, and the uncut? I'm thinking it may be this couple, though. Ultimate World Cruiser. They have been giving out subtlety, if you would. If you ask them a question, they definitely have no problem answering, good, bad, or indifferent. So I'm thinking that Marc's going to go ahead and pass the baton off to them. I'm going to go ahead and insert some recent live clips at the end of this video. And I want you guys to let me know if you would like to see more of their live streams and my commentary. Please make sure you like, follow, and share. And until next time, beautiful people, peace.
I say yes like every time. And Liz, I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you want to answer anything like that?
I like Marc.
Let's
I
see.
like Marc. Marc's a nice guy. You know, he's a TikToker. He has an online personality. And I think a lot of that derives, obviously, from his real personality, but that's not all his personality. And I know him as a real person, and as a real person, I like Marc. I think he's charming. I think he's funny. I have no problem with Marc whatsoever.
Do you have a problem with Marc having a free ticket on the cruise? Seems like some people are pissy that he's here for free.
No.
And do you think that he's actually here
I have
for
less
free?
of a problem with him being here for free because he does not annoy me than all the children that are here for free that, you know,
because
are
Ultimate World Cruise, Royal Caribbean lets kids sail free
on any cruise.
On all cruises.
So I have more of a problem with that because Marc isn't screaming and crying and running around the dining room. So that's more what I have a problem with being here for free. Anyway,
from their following of people there's people on board the ship who will follow some of these loudmouths and sort of just be like they're like their backup, like they're hype people behind them. And they sort of try to like chuckle through the rudeness. It's kind of like, let's say there's somebody that's rich and you've latched yourself to this rich person, but you know they're a total asshole. And when they are an asshole, it bothers you, but you can't say anything because they're so rich and you're latched to them and you're feeding off of them. So there's people who are feeding off these people, like their spouse, for example. There are a lot of rich people whose spouse sort of goes along for the ride. And they can't really say, oh, Tom, stop being such a loudmouth jerk and be more considerate to others. They just sort of sit in the corner and sort of like say, oh, it's not so serious. He's not that bad. He doesn't really mean it. They, what's the word? They downplay, and they also, what's the word when you, it's like inhibit. What's the word? Enable. Thank you. Bridget gets 10 points. And so does Sort of Human. They enable their awful, awful, awful spouse's behavior. And I've seen it multiple times. There are people who not only do they not care about other people on the ship, they don't have any way of being put in check. The only way to put some of these people in check is to sort of embarrass them publicly. And sometimes if you take that approach, like if I took that approach and approached someone else, then it would it's sort of like if you point your finger at someone, you say, you're a jerk. Well, that has 4 fingers pointing back at me. And it makes me look like I am not a good Christian person, which I am. So maybe I'm an enabler because I don't speak up enough. But God, it's ugly to see these folks. Now, I'm hoping Liz comes in soon because she is the star. She's the star. In our relationship, like, she's more at ease. She's more at peace internally with herself and her own perspectives and stuff. She doesn't have self-doubt. Like, not a lot of it as far as I can tell. She doesn't doubt her feelings. She doesn't question her own self-worth as far as I know. She's a very, very confident person, but she also is very, very, very caring. And she's got this positive energy about her she's like, if there was a party and you were invited and she was the hostess, it would be a great time because she's always thinking about everybody else. She's always giving, and she's fun to be around too. And she's so at ease with herself. She's very, very graceful. Very, very graceful. It's such a beautiful quality to have grace. To me, it's a beautiful quality to have grace. In fact, I think it's maybe the most beautiful quality is to have that sort of ease where you put others at ease, you make other people feel good about themselves, you make people around you better than they would be if they weren't in your presence. Rachel says grace equals wealth. It's such a beautiful quality, grace. That humility, that humility that is coupled with confidence. And then the talent and the skill set to be able to communicate and to be so free and confident in yourself that you can be yourself and talk with people with tact, but the tact doesn't have to be on the forefront of your mind. It just is the nature of the person. It's such a beautiful thing. So 10 years, we've been married for 10 years now. It's been the best 10 years of my life. Sometimes I'm not like worthy of like her affection. And then she forgives me, and it feels so good when she's like, I'm in her good graces. Like, it feels so good when, she forgives me for being human and for having flaws. And I do the same. Like, she's not a perfect person, but we have this great thing where most of the time it's just right. And, it just feels so easy. And I feel like that could be something that some of you could maybe take to heart and learn from, is like it's not supposed to be, you're not supposed to like have a whole lot of doubt. When it's real, you don't have to force it. You don't have to keep trying and trying and trying. Like, when it's actually there, it just sort of works. Especially like one of the biggest things and most important things is you have to be mutually attracted to each other. You have to have a mutual attraction that's a romantic attraction. You have to like to be around each other, and like you have to be able to make love to each other, and you have to actually enjoy it. And if you each enjoy that, it's way more powerful than if you don't, because I've been in other relationships where it's not that, where like you don't have that mutual connection. You don't have it. It's either there or it's